Hello, welcome to this step-by-step tutorial of this song from Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the waltz from the special stage in the game, the one where you're spinning around in a room like this. It's going all directions and very chaotic, but you've got this beautiful waltz happening in the background. This is my #1 favorite song from all of the Sonic games, so that's why I wanted to arrange it for guitar. And I'd like to say a special thank you to Rashad, who requested this tutorial. And I'm thrilled that, Rashad, that you want to learn this song, and I hope this helps. So let me point out the terminology before we begin that I'll be using. For the fingerboard hand, we have finger numbers. So this is finger number 1, 2, 3, and 4. For the plucking hand, I use the classical guitar terminology. So for thumb, I'll say P. For index, I'll say I. For middle, I'll say M. And then for ring finger, I'll say A. For annular in Spanish. And I don't use any pinky on the plucking hand in this piece. So I won't be referring to it. And then don't forget your string numbers. Don't get them confused. The first string is the high E, is the smallest string, so it gets the smallest number. Then we have the second string, B, third string, G. And then we have the fourth string, D, and then the fifth string, A, and then the sixth string, back to E. Okay, so let's get started. This piece basically has 4 sections. It's really like an introduction and then 3 sections. And you get a little bit of repetition out of some of those sections that makes it a little bit longer, but I think it'll actually be pretty quick to explain. So let me start with the introduction, and this is just something I came up with for the arrangement. This doesn't really exist in the original track. And I wanted to make this introduction to just kind of lay the framework for the piece before we come in with the part that you recognize. So this is the simplest part of the piece, but what you want to establish here is your waltz feel and tempo. So you want to feel 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And you'll notice how I'm doing this with the chords. I'm playing the first one short. Instead of going. So that's just a choice that I'm making to do that. You'll hear a lot of people play waltzes like that. Short, long, short, long. And I'm pretty sure I do that throughout the whole piece. So if you'd like to incorporate that, I think it would sound great. If not, do what you think sounds good. But use this introduction to establish your feel that you're going to stick to, and the feel that's going to be very, very solid throughout the piece. Okay, so here's how you play it. First note is 4th string, 3rd fret, that's an F with first finger. And then you have a C, 3rd string, 5th fret with 3rd finger. Then you have an E, 2nd string, 5th fret with 4th finger. That's your first chord. Okay, and with plucking hand, I'm doing P for this bass note here, and then I and M together on the 2-note chord. So thumb, and then fingers, fingers. Okay, and then we're going to keep the plucking hand the same for the next chord. For the fretboard hand, first finger goes down to this E, 4th string, 2nd fret. 3rd finger goes to 3rd string, 4th fret, that's a B. And then 2nd finger comes in, plays 2nd string, 3rd fret, that's a D. And when you're shifting here, you can use your 3rd finger as a guide finger. It won't squeak. I wouldn't use the 1st finger as the guide finger if you're trying to avoid the squeak, which I am when I play it. Oops. And the same plucking hand pattern for this chord. Thumb, fingers, fingers, and then thumb, fingers, fingers, okay? Then we're gonna do the same plucking hand pattern again. And all we're gonna do is this time play the open 4th string, that's a D with a thumb. And these fingers 3 and 2 just shift down 2 frets. They stay on the strings that they're on. So 3rd finger is on 3rd string, 2nd fret, A. 2nd finger is on 2nd string, 1st fret, C. So from here, go down. Okay, same rhythm, thumb, fingers, fingers. So we're going to come down to this chord, and then we're going to immediately work our way back up. Okay, so this chord, 4th finger goes on 5th string, 3rd fret, C, and then we play open 3rd string, G, and open 2nd string, B. And just one pluck there before we start going back up. So after we pluck here, P, I, and M together. Now come back to this previous chord shape and pluck P, I, and M together again. Now move back up to this chord shape before that we've had and pluck P, I, and M together. So again, we work our way down and then come back up. Okay, so all together that's going to sound like this. Okay, that's what we've had so far. Now we're going to repeat the beginning this far, and then we're going to do this. We still haven't, at this point, we've had all these chords already, so you know what they are. It's just, we've changed the order a little bit. So after this, we're going to move to this chord and pluck P, I, and M together. Then move back to this chord where we came from, and then quickly go back to this one, like that. This chord with 4th finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret, and open 3rd and 2nd strings. And that's the rhythm. Da, 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 da. So the second half of that beginning intro phrase starts the same. Okay, and then you repeat the whole thing exactly like that. So you're going to play that beginning passage 2 times. The first time I play it kind of at a normal brightness of tone, maybe. On the second time, I move my plucking hand over to make it a little bit darker, kind of for an echo effect or something like that. And all the notes are exactly the same. And then now we start the piece. Okay. So that's how you play the intro. Pretty basic, but you want to establish your waltz tempo and feel here. And you can be very musical with it, okay? I'm really feeling this line with the thumb when I play this. And then these chords just kind of back it up. And settle nice and easy on this end chord. I wouldn't do loud there. I would resolve it. Sorry. Really set the stage, and then start your piece. Okay, so that's the introduction. Now let's begin, I guess, what we'll call the A section. What makes this tricky to me is, and you know, on the recording that's up there right now, I really don't think I did a good job, to the point where I would really like to record it again, because when I'm playing it, it sounds way too difficult. I wish I would have worked on it a little bit longer. You know, the notes are there, but it doesn't sound just really nice and easy. Oops. Like it should. Just unencumbered and just so easy, like a child is playing it. I think that's what it should sound like. And I'm not playing it that easy. I'm taking too much time to get where I need to go. So as you're working this, work it so that even though you're doing a lot of work here, hopefully all your audience hears is that nice, beautiful melody just floating above everything and very serene, and it just sounds like it's not difficult at all. And then I think it'll sound like good music. Do a better job than I did, please. But if I were going to rework this again, that's what I would focus on. Making it sound so simple and easy, like a child was playing it. Okay, let's get to this music, how to play it. So I start with a big fat rest stroke on the first string, E, with my I finger over here. So I'm going to put a lot of fingertip on the string, and I'm going to push in to get that. It's not like an accent, but it has some meat behind it. Okay, it's not a wimpy tone. It's a pretty fat tone. It'd be great to do this all rest stroke, but it doesn't really work out that way. But I throw it in when I can, and then try and match it with the notes that I can't do rest stroke. Okay, so find this sound for yourself. As you can see, I'm not back here. I'm like almost over the fingerboard with the plucking hand to get this sound, and then lots of fingertip on the string. I don't know if you can see the line. Yeah, you can see it. So lots of fingertip. Big fat sound. Okay, so that's your first impulse into this section. Now we're going to grab this chord. It's 4th string, 3rd fret with 3rd finger, that's an F. 3rd string, 2nd fret with 2nd finger, that's an A. 2nd string, 1st fret with 1st finger, that's a C. Okay, and I'm going to, after I play this first note, I'm going to very quickly relax so that I can come back and pluck this chord with P, I, and N. Okay, so I and then P, I, M. And we pluck this chord one time, and the second time we have to add our melody note. Now you can watch my fretboard hand do a big pivot. That's because the first finger is going to pivot so it can catch 1st string, 1st fret, F with this little mini bar thing that's going on. Not worried about it at the beginning because I want my melody E, my first melody note, to ring. Okay, But when it's time, I'm going to pivot my hand this way so it can catch this F. Okay. And then with plucking hand, we have I, P-I-M, with chord, and then we have P-I-M-A, plucking in these 4 notes. P-I-M-A. And here's where it's tricky to get this fat sound with free stroke of your A finger. So this is a good study for this. I might lean my hand in this way a good bit and try and get flesh on the string with your A finger with free stroke. Right about there. It won't be as much, but try and match it as much as you can. So I, P-I-M, and P-I-M-A. Okay, our next melody note is this G, 1st string, 3rd fret. I'm fretting with my 4th finger. And I do a fat rest stroke. This time I use middle finger. I don't know why. I think it's because after that, I don't know why. It just feels comfortable to go back to P-I-M after that. You could do I if you want. Either I or M on that big rest stroke. Okay, so we're here. Now we're gonna grab this chord. The whole time 4th finger needs to be solid, firm, not going anywhere. It needs to ring, okay? This harking back to let your melody be clear and easy sounding and just float above everything. If you don't do that, that's not what it sounds like. It sounds like you had to leave it to play the piece. So leave 4th finger here and then grab this chord. 4th string, 2nd fret, E with 2nd finger. And then open 3rd string, G, and open 2nd string, B. So ring, and then pluck this chord, P-I-M. Then we're gonna pluck a 4-note chord, P-I-M, same as they were, and then add in the 1st string, open E, with your A finger here. You'll notice I'm doing the articulation short, long, short, long. I'm trying to anyway, if you want to throw that in there. Okay, so where were we? After this chord, we have one more open E, 1st string. I'm going to go back to rest stroke 4. That's ringing, I'm gonna do a big pivot of my hand, a big shift, and move down here to this D major chord. Is it D major? It's not D major. It is D. It's D minor. So it's 5th string, 5th fret with 4th finger. And then 4th string, 3rd fret with 2nd finger. It's an F. And then 3rd string, 2nd fret with 1st finger. It's an A. So remember, while we have this open E ringing, pivot out, and make sure you've got the tunnel in your fretboard hand fingers so that you don't cut this E off. It's ringing. Okay. And then pluck this chord with P-I-M like we've been doing. Okay. Now we're gonna do a little bit of a stretch. Not too bad. 1st finger stretch is okay. So you're going to keep fingers 4 and 2 where they are. Take your 1st finger, reach it back, 2nd string, 1st fret, C. And we're going to pluck these 3 notes on the 5th string, on the 4th string, and on the 2nd string. My plucking hand is going to do P, I, A, all free stroke. we've let go of this A, but hopefully we've been sneaky enough so that nobody hears it. After that, we're going to do this. Okay, I'm going to grab this 4-note chord. 5th string, 3rd fret with 3rd finger, that's C. 4th string, 2nd fret with 2nd finger, that's E. Open 3rd string, G. And open 1st string, E. And our plucking hand is just going to do P, I, M, A. I usually arpeggiate this chord, I think. Do that if you want. And we're just going to play that chord one time before we move on. You'll notice the harmony changes from the introduction are the same, and the rhythms are the same. Play once. Then we're going to go back to this chord that we just had. The PIM. Okay, then we're going to go from here. And while you play this chord, the open E needs to be ringing over it. Jump to this chord. 4th string, 2nd fret, E with 2nd finger. Open 3rd string, G. And 2nd string, 1st fret, C with 1st finger. And right hand's just doing PIM. And your melody note here is this C. So try and bring that out. And after that, we kind of start the beginning of the riff over again. It's exactly the same until this point. And at this point, we're going to do this. Or sorry, we're going to do this. Okay, so this is all the same. Now jump to this chord. 5th string, 5th fret with 3rd finger, it's a D. And then 4th string, 3rd fret with 1st finger, that's an F. And then 3rd string, 5th fret with 4th finger, that's a C. And I pluck it B, I, M. Then we're going to play a melody note with the rest stroke here. 2nd string, 3rd fret, D with 1st finger. When we play that D, be sure you let go of this C over here, because those are both melody, so don't let them ring into each other. In fact, when I play this D, I totally let go of this chord altogether, because I'm about to move after that, so I just let go of it. So after this, use your 1st finger here to slide down 2 frets and set yourself up for what ends up being a guitar-friendly C major chord. If you've ever played C major, that's what we're fretting. So 1st finger goes to 2nd string, 1st fret, C. I'll build it from the top this time, I guess. Then we have open 3rd string, G. Then we have 4th string, 2nd fret, E with 2nd finger. Then we have 5th string, 3rd fret, C with 3rd finger. And the plucking end just does P, I, M, A. Remember, the melody note is this C that you're going to play with your A finger. I mean, you could do it with other combinations, but... Okay. So the second half of that first phrase goes like that. And then we start the whole first phrase over. It's identical for a long time. this part, this is the same, and then we do this at the end, a little bit different. I think on the actual track, I think they've got instruments doing both of these things at once. One is doing this, and one is doing this every time. But you know, I chose to do one and then the other because we're playing it on one instrument. So from this chord, we're just gonna do this. Pretty simple. I go back to this chord and then move everything up 2 frets. Keep the fingers and the frets the same. So we have 5th string 7th fret, 4th string 5th fret, and 3rd string 7th fret. Right as we move, we're going to go back to where we were, and then we're going to end on this chord. Really nice sounding chord. So this is 5th string 3rd fret with 2nd finger C, 4th string 2nd fret with 1st finger E, and then a B on the 3rd string 4th fret with 4th finger. And you can play this B open if you want, open 2nd string. But I like the fuzziness of playing it here, especially because I really want to resolve this. I don't want to stomp on it. I want to be louder here, and then it just kind of melt. So if you use a 2nd string, that's okay. The open 2nd string, that's fine. Just don't play it too loud. You know, open strings can be pretty loud sometimes. So watch out for that. Okay. And then that's the whole A section. Am I forgetting anything? Let me think. I don't think so. From there, we go to the B section. It's a little trickier, but it's short. So we start with this chord. 5th string 1st fret. I think it's a B flat. 4th string 3rd fret. It's an F. 3rd string 2nd fret. A with 2nd finger. Sorry, 1st finger here, 3rd finger here, 2nd finger, and then 2nd string 3rd fret D with your 4th finger. This is a really cool chord shape if you've never played it before. Play it all over the fingerboard. Sounds really cool. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's a nice sounding chord. Okay, so this is the chord we're starting with. First, we're going to pluck the 5th string on its own with thumb over here. Then we're going to pluck the other 3 notes of the chord with P, I, and M. Okay. Your melody notes this D on the 2nd string, so keep that in mind. I'm not doing a great job of bringing that out. Okay. After we do this, P and M are going to stay where they are. And instead of playing the 2nd string, we can let go with 4, just relax it. And we're going to play the open 1st string E. And again, try not to let them ring into each other because they're both a melody. You want it to sound more like... Okay, not... You don't want to get weird with it. Okay, so after we have this, now we have this. We're going to pluck this B flat down here that we still have on the 5th string, At the same time, we're going to do a hinge bar. So just fret this B flat and then just kind of pull your hand back so you fret the F on the first string, first fret, with this back part of your finger. No need to bar all the strings. Just hold down this note in the 5th string, and then lean back and get that note in the 1st string. I'm gonna plug those two together. I'm gonna do thumb here and A on top. After that, thumb and I are going to pluck these 2 notes like they did before. The melody is going to go E, F. So let go of this hinge for the first chord there, and then put it back for the next chord. And if you want to do the, I'm not doing it right now, but if you want to do the short, long stuff, all you got to do is remember to plant P and I after you play that first chord. Like as soon as you play it, put them back, and then you'll get it. You'll achieve that effect. If you want to do that, it's not as complicated as it sounds. I think I would recommend playing it that way because it further separates your melody from your accompaniment, and it keeps with this feel that we've had going. Right? So if it takes a little extra work, I think it's worth it. Okay, so after this, move up to the 3rd fret here. And let me show you the chord, and then I'll show you the sequence. So first finger is going to bar. It's going to get the 5th string and the 1st string on the 3rd fret. Then we have 4th string, 5th fret with 3rd finger, and 3rd string, 4th fret with 2nd finger. That's our new chord that we're going to get. First we pluck 5th string and 1st string together with P and A. And then P and I are going to pluck this 2-note chord here. After they pluck it once, they're going to pluck it again with the open 1st string. So at that moment, let go of this bar you've got going on the 1st string. Hold it until you have to let go, so the melody rings as clear as it can. Okay, for as long as it can ring. Okay, that's the first part of this. After this, we have a little bit of tomfoolery happening. So this is a little bit complicated to explain. We have the melody jumping to a lower string, 3rd string, and the accompaniment, one of the accompaniment notes is moving to the 2nd string. Okay, so usually if you want to keep the melody clear, you keep it above the accompaniment. Okay, here we have this happening a little bit. Why? Because of the way it works on the guitar, and like you want to sneak it in there. You want to disguise it so that no one notices, you know, that you're suddenly out of balance. So it's a little bit tricky, but I think it's doable. So what happens is you fret the 3rd string, 5th fret with your 4th finger here. 1st finger is still here on the 5th string, 3rd fret. So play those 2 together first. Okay. Now you're going to play the same chord that you've been playing. You're just going to change how you play it a little bit on which strings. You're still going to play this 4th string at 3rd fret, 3rd finger is on, 3rd finger, 5th fret. But instead of playing this B here on the 3rd string, 4th fret, you're going to play open 2nd string B. You can't play it here because your melody note is now on the same string. So after you do this, you're going to play 5th and 3rd strings together. Then you're going to play 4th and 2nd strings together. So I've got P and I, and then P and M. And here's where you have the melody here, and your accompaniment on the string above it. Okay, not generally recommended, but you can do it at times. It would be a cool effect at other times, but this I'm looking for more straightforward presentation of the melody. Okay, this is a tricky move. It was a tricky move for me to get used to. And then you've got to think about the control so that your melody still sounds, not like that. It sounds nice and clear and uninterrupted. How I think about this is make sure you play this C on the 3rd string loud enough with your I finger, not too loud, but loud enough so that it's not buried. And then play those next 2 chords just super quiet, okay? Especially with this open string, okay? It wants to jump out. What you're still gonna have to fight is how this is a different sound quality than this. Okay. But you can disguise it. And I would disguise it, I would start by playing this as quietly as I could. And then it's not really a big deal. Generally, I think this section I play a little bit quieter anyway. Oops. So it kind of fits in. Okay, might sound like I talked too much about that one part, but it's important because every other time you play the melody in the song, I mean the whole rest of the song, the melody is very clearly in, it's put in one place, and only is for like a measure where it's put somewhere else. So you don't want it to sound like that, or it will sound weird, and your listener will just think, why did it sound weird right there? They're probably kind, and they will think, oh, because he's playing guitar, that's probably difficult right there. But you don't want them to think that. You just want them to think, oh, that still sounds good. Everything sounds good. So work it so you fool them. And I wouldn't do this unless I feel like I had to. I would come up with a more clear-cut structure, but I guess I couldn't think of anything else. Okay, so I've talked about that enough. After you do that, it starts the same way for the second half of that phrase up to this point. And then you do this. So this chord is, what are we doing? Okay, 5th string, 5th fret, D with 3rd finger. Then 3rd string, 5th fret, C with 4th finger. And then you're gonna bar strings 2 and 1 on the 3rd fret with your 1st finger. And I don't do this because it feels more uncomfortable than to just leave my finger there and just press only where those strings are. But if it feels comfortable for you to reach back and do this, that's fine. Okay. So after this chord, and I I always, I think, arpeggiate this chord. I draw it out. It's a pretty big cadence that we've got. So you can take your time with it if you want. If you arpeggiate it, I'll mention, don't forget that this is your melody. Don't let it be buried. Okay? Make the arpeggio go to that last melody note. Okay? So after this, melody goes to 1st string, 5th fret, A with your 4th finger. Then you fret this nice F something chord, F9 maybe, I'm guessing. So slide down 2 frets with your 4th finger on the 1st string, so it gets to the 3rd fret, G, and you're gonna fret this chord with your other 3 fingers, which you've seen before. It's 4th string, 3rd fret, F with 3rd finger, 3rd string, 2nd fret, A with 2nd finger, 2nd string, 1st fret, C with 1st finger. And play all 4 of those notes together. Plucking hand does P-I-M-A. Okay, and if you'll notice, I'd go back to using a rest stroke when there's only one melody note at the same time to try and reinforce that fat melody sound that I want. Oops. You could arpeggiate both of these chords if you want. Might be a little much, but whatever. Or you can not do it. And then the music on the track, it goes back to the first part again after you play that B section just one time. And that's what I do too in this arrangement. So we're going to go back and play the A section just note for note like we went over it the first time. Then when we come back to the B section, you'll have to double check the recording. I'm pretty sure we play it the same length of time, just one time, before we go to this, what we'll call the C section. Something like that. And then again, this is going on, this little high part, while this is happening in the music, but couldn't do all that at once. And I think it works good as an arrangement to kind of highlight these different parts to make it a little bit longer and to make it interesting and to spend time with them. You know, in the game, it's like, the game happens so fast. I mean, how long is a level in Sonic the Hedgehog? You know, how fast can you get through Green Hill Zone? You know, like 30 seconds. So, you know, you don't have time, if that, you know, you don't have time to spend time on each of these parts, so they cram them all together. It makes perfect sense. But in the arrangement, it's fun to spend some time with each of the different parts, especially if you like the music and you like all the different parts. So in the C section, we're gonna spend some time with this top voice, okay? This is the trickiest part of the arrangement for sure. So just take your time, keep working on it. Bar chords are tough. Once again, even if you can play them, you don't want to get your melody buried or have your accompaniment be too loud. You want everything to be balanced. So work it until it sounds just as good as the beginning part. Okay, so here's how we play it. We're going to start by barring the 5th string, 8th fret. That's a C, I think. No, that's an F, sorry. And well, how should I show this? I'll show you the chord, and then I'll show you the sequence, okay? So we have this F. Then we have 4th string, 10th fret, the 3rd finger. I don't know what that is. Is that a what is that? It's a C. 4th string, 10th fret. Then 3rd string, 9th fret, that's an E, with your 2nd finger, okay, is the chord. Now, 4th finger is reaching up to the 1st string, 12th fret, E. And pretty quick, we're gonna bar also the 1st string on the 8th fret, but I'll get there. So reach up and play this high E with the 4th finger, and we're gonna play it twice, 2 plucks. At the same time, we pluck this low F in the bass on the 5th string. Now with the plucking hand, I do A, M on that high E. And these guys should be ready because they're going to come into play. Okay. So we do 2 melody notes. Now we come in with this chord. So first finger is going to sink into the bar at the 1st fret. It wasn't there yet. You can put it down if you want. I kind of need all the stretch I can get, so it's not barred. If you want to set it from the beginning, that's fine, or just bring it in when you need it. That's fine too, okay? So after this, we have thumb playing 5th string and I playing 4th, thumb playing 4th string here, I playing 3rd string, A playing 1st string, which is barred at the 8th fret. And try and keep this low F ringing. Okay. After one of these chords, the melody goes to this A on the 2nd string, 10th fret with 4th finger. Again, if you want to do that short little chord in the middle, just plant P and M after you pluck that first chord. And you can put it together with a melody here. I think it sounds nice if you want. So I'm actually quickly doing P, I, and A to make it all short. Okay, and then we're going to do this. Not that. The chord is a little different here. We move down 1 fret to the 7th fret, and we're going to bar at the 5th string, and we're also going to bar the 3rd string here, which we didn't have to do before. This is our chord. It used to be this, now it's this. I'm trying to get my 2nd finger out of the way. This. So we have the bar here, 7th fret, 3rd finger, 4th string, 9th fret, and then the 1st finger bar is playing the 3rd string, 7th fret. 2nd finger, I'd go ahead and put it on 2nd string, 8th fret. So this is your chord you want to fret to begin. Okay. It was this. And now it becomes this. Pinky is on 1st string, 10th fret. And we have the same sequence here with low bass note. Oops. And then the thumb moving up to the 4th string and playing P and I together. And 2 melody notes, I play with A, M, just like before. Oops, let's see. After the 2 melody notes, then the 1st finger bars the next melody note at the 7th fret. Sorry, this sounds so confusing as I'm saying it, so forgive me, but it's confusing to explain. So we have 10th fret here, and then we go to the bar for the next one at the 7th fret, and then the second finger plays the 2nd string 8th fret. That's a G. As a final melody note there. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing. Just move it down 2 frets. Thank God. Thank God it's like, oh, it's pretty much the same. It's just not exactly the same, but it's almost the same, but it's a little bit different. So be sure and get the difference right. The same thing, okay? So after this, just move everything down 2 frets. Now you're in 5th position at the 5th fret. Same thing. Okay, then we do this sequence. We start with this chord. We've got a bar at the 3rd fret on the 5th string and on the 1st string. Okay, so the ones in between I'm not holding down. I'm not worried about those. Then we have 4th string 5th fret with 3rd finger, and then we have 3rd string 4th fret with 2nd finger. It's a 4-note chord. Pluck that one time. Okay, so coming from here, one pluck. Then we move to this chord. The 3rd finger slides up 2 frets to the 4th string, 7th fret. Now we're going to bar one more string. We're going to bar strings 5, 3, and then 1. So instead of having the 2nd finger down, just bar that string. Still P-I-M-A with the plucking hand. Pluck that chord once and then move that same chord up 2 frets to 7th position and pluck it once. Okay, and then the whole thing starts again until right here. So this chord is, let's see, 5th string 5th fret with 1st finger, 4th string 7th fret with 3rd finger, 2nd string 6th fret with 2nd finger, and then 1st string 8th fret with 4th finger. You could play the 3rd string barred if you want, but I decided to leave it out. I like this voicing better than this one. So I just pluck this P-I-M-A. Then we have this chord, which is tricky for me to get. So we have one melody note on its own here. Slide the 4th finger up to 1st string 10th fret. Okay, after this chord. Then you can build this chord. Tricky for me to get. If you listen to the recording, I'd take way too much time here because I have to. So the 1st finger is going to bar the 6th string and the 1st string at the 8th frets. 4th finger is going to play 5th string 10th fret. 2nd finger is going to play 4th string 9th fret. 3rd finger is going to play 3rd string 9th fret. And there's no 2nd string in this chord. Again, you could have added it if you wanted, but I didn't like the voicing. With the right hand, I'm going to plant my A finger on the 1st string so it's ready. And I'm going to do P-P-I-M-A. P-P-I-M-A. always arpeggiate that one because I cheat and take a little bit more time to get there. It's tricky because fourth finger has to do this. I mean, I shouldn't even be showing you this. You could come up with something better, I'm sure. But this is the way that I fingered it in the recording. Maybe this might work. That's probably better. Just do a hinge bar and then maybe, I don't know. And then that whole C section phrase repeats exactly like that. I won't put you through the pains of showing you again, or myself. I know it's kind of tricky. Just be sure you have the chords right, that you don't have any wrong chord tones. I like something that sounds different. Okay, be sure you've got the chord tones right. Be sure your melody knows what to do. Do a lot of listening to the original track and you'll figure it out, okay? And then again, I'll say, this is a difficult section. When I originally came up with this arrangement, I couldn't play this section. I just faked my way through it. It was a while later until I actually learned how to play it halfway decently. So keep at it if it gives you troubles, but I sure hope it doesn't. And that's basically it. The only other part that I haven't gone over is after you play the C section, you play that phrase 2 times. The arrangement goes back to this B section, and it's the same, except that we extend it this time and make it twice as long. Very simple thing, so instead of ending it there, we just do this. Play it again. That's it. All I did there was hold this chord out, fret first string, first fret F with first finger, play it twice. I'm doing M-I, and then do a descending slur to the open E first string. Then I want that to ring until I play this D on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. That's not in the original piece. I just added it to add some contrast to the arrangement. And also, I like this part, and you always only play it once. I felt like it was left out. So I wanted to give it its little moment in the sun. And I thought it was a nice way to wrap up the arrangement. Because after this, we're going to play the introduction again. It's going to serve as our ending. Oh, there's one thing there I need to show you before I'm done for real. And this is all exactly the same, okay? Now it ends with the introduction. Same thing. Do the same thing where I start with a brighter sound and then go to a darker sound for the echo. So here's the darker sound. At the very end, I slow down because it's fun. And then I do this. Sorry I messed it up. That's the only thing that's different. So all it is instead of doing this, do this. I messed it up again. This chord is exactly the same. It's just this time I'm fretting 2nd finger on this 5th string, 3rd fret, C. And I'm going to add this high G, 1st string, 3rd fret with 3rd finger. Let it ring for a little bit. Arpeggiate it slowly. We're already going slow. Some vibrato, and then a very soft descending slur. Third finger plucks off into that open 1st string E, and that's your final melody note. that ends the arrangement. Yeah, maybe a little bit softer than I'm doing right now. And then, oh, that was nice. I like that. And then a little super nerdy thing that I think is really cool. If you want to test your guitar, here's a good way. Like, you want your guitar to be resonant, right? You play a note, you want it to ring for a while, okay, you play a chord, you want it to be full, okay? How resonant is your guitar? Here's a good test right here. Play this, hit this G loud enough so that it rings, okay? And then when you do the pull off to the open E, can you still hear that G? Like, do you hear them both? Oh, I didn't do it that time. And it's like, I don't know if you on the other side of the guitar can hear that and coming through the recording. I don't know if it comes through. But if you have a very good guitar, this should keep going even after you do the pull off. You should be able to hear them both. It's a really cool test where you can say, you know, is my guitar resonant, and the sound, are the sounds that I am putting into them, are they full enough? Are they resonant enough to get that kind of response? If you can do that, then yeah, I think it's a pretty resonant instrument. I think you're putting in some full sounds into your guitar. If not, it doesn't mean you're not. It just means maybe your guitar doesn't do that. But I think it's a cool test. Nothing that I think an audience member will pick up on, but it's something to entertain yourself with. Like, if I was going to play this piece for people and then I ended it, in my mind I would be thinking, you got to hear both of those notes at the very end, like, just to put the cherry on top, you know? And let the G ring long enough so it starts to resonate in the body, and then, oh, don't forget to do the slur, as I tell myself. Okay, and then if you hear that last E, and then you're still hearing that me up top, you're like, okay, all right, I got it. Okay, that's just a nerdy thing, but I think it's really neat. Something I found out when I was working this piece back up to do this tutorial. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to you. I know some of that's pretty complicated. Just take your time, keep going over it. Feel free to ask me any questions, and I'll do my best to help you out. Okay, have a good one. Hope to see you in another video. Take care. Bye-bye.